Hey everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome back to my returning viewers, our video village. End of 2024. What a crazy year it's been and what a crazy year it's going to be. I wanted to just take a moment and kind of reflect on what we've been up to here on the channel, what I've been up to, and kind of invite you to do the same in the comments if you want. I would love to hear what you've been up to and what you're looking forward to in the new year. So I only started this whole YouTube journey in, I think, March of this year, and it has been such a special experience. I hadn't really imagined that, it would do quite so well. I'm so delighted to have met so many wonderful people here on the channel and made new friends and learned so much about metal music as well as metal videos and what excites people. So it's just been one of the best things I've done all this year. And so far I have, I had the intention of doing one video every week that turned into 2 videos every week. And it was a pretty breakneck pace, to be honest, and especially with all the other stuff that I've got going on. In case you're new here, I'm a writer-director. I work in the film industry, and I moved to the United States this year, or back, I should say. We lived here before, but then we left the US during COVID, so moved to Los Angeles, and it was a very exciting time because I got to work on a little TV show for Amazon called Cross and worked on the bonus content for Cross. I got to shadow a director and director of photography on that shoot, and it was a fantastic experience. I learned so much. So that was always kind of my dream, is I would only move here once I finally had a job or got a job, in the studio system, that is. And I did. And then the job came to an end and I was still here. So have been working really hard to meet more people and to connect. And that's kind of what we do, is we do a lot of networking, a lot of freelance work. And the film industry has been in a very interesting place. I've been working so hard on my feature film, which is a psychological horror called Detain Me. And it's been such an enlightening experience. Everyone thought that 2024 was going to be better after the strikes in 2023. Yet, the industry has just been in a very, very strange place. But I'm feeling really good about the prospects of 2025. People are saying that the next year is going to be better. Now, I'm actually going to be leaving Los Angeles soon. I'll be back on the road, as we say here in this household, because my husband and I have been sort of living everywhere and nowhere for the past 5 years or so. And our lease is up next year. And currently, LA has been really fun, but we want to explore elsewhere and make movies elsewhere. And I'm sure I'll still be working here in Los Angeles in the future. But for me, it feels like a lot of waiting around, if that makes sense. And the film industry is just in a strange place, especially with all of the AI developments as well. So that's that. Definitely been many highlights for my year this year, working on Cross, the bonus content for Cross. I traveled quite a bit. I went to New Orleans with my good friend Cheryl, and as you're watching this, I'm actually in St. Lucia in the Caribbean, back with friends that, you may not know this, but I actually lived in the Caribbean for 2 years during COVID. So very much looking forward to that at this point in time, which is a little before this video is going live. So I'll be there and having a really, really good time. And I wrote a lot, which some of that you can see on Patreon. And just in general, I really got back into the swing of my creativity, which I was looking for and kind of lost for a long time. But being here and just surrounding myself with creativity and really forcing myself to keep to a schedule with YouTube has really helped me a lot in finding that creative energy back. And so I'm just really stoked about what's going to happen next year, and really hoping that, we're now looking at filming Detain Me in the Netherlands for a lot less money than we would need here. So here in the US anyway. So I'm really stoked about that and the prospects of finally shooting Detain Me, because I wrote that script in 2020. So I don't think people realize how long of a journey it is from writing a script to actually bringing it to life, and all of the hurdles you have to go through. It's quite intense, but I strongly believe that the only person that can really pull the plug on a project is you. So I keep on going. We have such an amazing team, and I wish I could tell you about some of the people that we have involved, but so far, like, I've been told not to say too much publicly yet, but maybe that'll change. I don't know. So, keep your eyes peeled. And it really depends on what happens early next year. So either way, just quickly wanted to also go through sort of what I'm planning for the next year, what things are going to look like, and then I'm going to give you some of my top 5 movies of 2024 and the music videos that were my favorites for this year that I looked at for the channel. So yes. So next year, just to give you a little bit of an idea of what we're doing with the channel, it's like I'm going to definitely, I'm going to scale it back a little bit. Like I was doing 2 videos a week. I'm going to go back to 1 a week, and then we'll occasionally start posting some other stuff. Like I would love to do more educational content. I did a little poll a while back, and definitely like a lot of people seem to be very interested in sort of like filmmaking 101, hearing more about my journey and the projects that I'm working on. So I definitely want to start focusing more on that, because I think that we've sort of established that, I know what I'm talking about, or at least I hope that you have gotten that idea. And I just, I love engaging with all of you and also teaching. Like that's something that I've done over the years and really, really enjoy a lot, actually. So that's definitely something I want to get into more. And then on Patreon, I'm going to continue posting 1 short story a month, which has been so much fun already. And some of them are a little longer, some of them are a little shorter, depending on like how much time I have available in the month, because especially the first couple months of 2025 are going to be very busy. So I'm expecting those will be a little bit shorter, but it's good for me to keep writing and to keep going and to, keep sharing that art with you, especially now that, AI is getting more and more prominent. I think that everyone should value and love art written by people even more, because we won't really have the human stories without them anymore. You know what I mean? It's like we're starting to lose the heart of all of these stories, because AI can copy our stories, but they can't really feel our stories, right? So it's still so important for me to keep doing that. And I also hope that I'll be able to collaborate more with people next year. So that's also something that I'm really looking forward to. So yeah, that's just a broad outline, and I'm just excited about where things are going, and I'm definitely planning on also shooting more interviews. That's also something that I'm really interested in. Also with people in person. So, and I don't know if that's going to be on this channel, because I have so many interests that I know that sometimes YouTube sort of punishes creators for. It's like, I would love to make things about multiple subjects. And maybe there's just one thing that I need to do that sort of ties everything together or something. But that is definitely something I'm super passionate about. Maybe I just need to tie them all together somehow around the filmmaking thing, perhaps, and then I'll still be able to show you both, interviews with like local people who have a business, as well as, my horror stuff. I don't know if I'm going to show you behind the scenes. I feel like sometimes it's also restrictive, So I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but I hope I'll be able to share more with you. Like even the writing, I'm not sure how to tie it into my YouTube videos necessarily yet. So yes, that's that. Let me just go through some of my favorites that I had this year. And I would love to hear your top 5 favorites or top 3, whatever, that you had this year. So I wrote down all of my notes here on paper. Like an old person, I guess. But I even got my fountain pens. I love fountain pens. Everything is digital now, and I just, I love having something that's physical and tangible. So for movies, I have a little top 5, and my number 5 is I Saw the TV Glow. So I Saw the TV Glow is a really weird sort of indie film from A24, and it's a beautiful sort of parable horror story about someone trying to find their identity and like figure out who they are. And there's some really sort of weird, surreal things happening. And if you're sort of into that art house sort of vibe, definitely would recommend it. Yeah, that was definitely a favorite. And so for my number 4, it's a little bit more mainstream. It's Alien Romulus. So I'm also a big sci-fi fan, especially dystopian sci-fi. So this hit all the right boxes. I love the original Alien films. I kind of lost track a little bit after Prometheus because that one I didn't love. Alien Romulus really felt like a return to the original films, and if you've seen it, like the last part of it is absolutely insane, and I just thought it was really well done, really like felt true to the spirit of the Alien films, and just really cool. I think for me, like when I put together lists like this, for me a marker is like, would I rewatch it? And that one I would certainly rewatch. So everything that is on this list, I would definitely rewatch. My number 3 is actually a little bit of a cheat. It's American fiction. It actually came out in 2023, but it was only released in like the last or second to last week of 2023, so I'm still gonna count it. What an incredible movie. I absolutely love this one. It was such a wonderful critique on, American hypocrisy, I think, especially in the art and writing and film scene. I really love Jeffrey Wright in this, especially as he plays this really sour guy who's just really annoyed at how basically black writers are never given the same sort of consideration as white writers. And then he writes a fake book more in the stereotypical black voice, and it gets a lot of love, and it's sort of bitterly hilarious, because it's at the same time, it's so accurate. So I thought that was an absolutely stellar movie. It looks really beautiful. It's very touching. The characters are very interesting. So I enjoyed it very much. And as a matter of fact, I already watched it twice. So, and next would be Dune 2. So on my number 2 sits Dune 2. I really enjoyed Dune 1, which I'd only watched this year. I kind of pushed it off a little bit. I don't know why. I don't love these huge tentpole studio films a lot of the time, because I often feel like they lack heart a little bit. But I really enjoyed Dune 1, and then I was able to see Dune 2 on one of the big 70mm screens here in Los Angeles, which was a really, really special treat. And it was overwhelming and beautiful, and the cinematography is just next level, just stunning, and the costumes also just fantastic. Like, there's nothing I can really say about the craft there. I would still say, like, I think that the original 60s colonialism of Dune really sort of shines through, even though I know that they try to change it. But in its core, it's very much like a colonialist story that it's still there, at the very core of it. And it feels a little dated that way. But it's a fantastic movie regardless, and I loved it so much. And then my number 1 for this year was, by far, actually, The Substance. My goodness. The film was written and directed by Coralie Fargeat, which I hope I'm pronouncing correctly, but she's a French writer-director, and it stars Demi Moore, and I don't want to say about it, I don't want to say too much about it because I'm afraid I'd spoil it, but it's basically about an older woman who is working in the entertainment industry and is, being discarded basically because she is aging out. And so she starts to use the substance that is going to give her like this alter ego, a younger woman. My goodness. So it's a body horror. It's very, very sort of Cronenberg, also a little bit like Japanese body horror too. And the performances are amazing. It feels very French, even though it's technically set here in Los Angeles. It was shot in Paris. And I don't know, even though it's set in America, like it feels like a very French film. And it is so over the top, and it's so crazy, and it's really, really beautifully shot. It's very colorful and very saturated, especially for a horror film. To see so much color is quite unusual. It was just, it's a film that I'm definitely gonna rewatch. It's a film that I will probably rewatch every couple years because it's For me, it's like one of those seminal horror films, and I think that people are going to be talking about it for many years to come, and hopefully reference it too. Is like I'm really looking forward to how it's going to impact pop culture and you know, in the future. So as for the music videos that I covered this year, here's some of my favorites. I'm just gonna read them and not really go through them too much, but here are my favorites, and they're not really in any specific order, but I definitely think that Electric Callboy, Every Time We Touch, but I have to say, like, every Electric Callboy, I have loved covering them. They are so fun, and I love that the energy and the sort of joy that they bring to all of their videos. Cannot get enough of them. Really looking forward to what they're going to be bringing us in 2025. In terms of an older video that I watched on the channel and didn't know before, it really sparked so much enthusiasm in me, was Nightwish's Noise. Definitely one of my favorites of the year, along with Sabaton's Bismarck, actually. I really enjoyed covering more of Sabaton as well as Nightwish, actually, this year, and really getting to know their videos more. Wonderful videos, like such eye for detail and just love for the craft and the storytelling through the videos. Absolutely fantastic. Especially for Sabaton, I've been amazed at how elaborate these videos are. It's been really mind-blowing. Then during October, I actually did quite a few horror-inspired videos. I did a really long analysis and sort of deconstruction of Michael Jackson's Thriller, which was so much fun, and I actually learned a lot by watching that video again and seeing how that video really inspired everything else. And lastly, I want to mention just Ren and those videos that have just been so mind-blowing to me, really inspiring. I think that of the videos I covered, my favorite was Cujo Beatdown, though I've loved all of them, but that one was just, given the context of the video and, you know, how unexpected it was and how just visceral that one was. After that, we had Slaughterhouse, which I also deconstructed, was also really great, and was really felt like a next step for him in terms of like how much they're spending on these videos and getting more and more professional. I am, however, really looking forward to going back a couple years to the Money Game videos, and those I'm going to be covering in like the first 1 or 2 months of the new year. So definitely keep an eye out for those. So those are kind of my favorites. Let me know what your favorite videos were if you've been following along a little longer. Lastly, wanted to give a quick shout out to the gamers out here. Like, I'm a gamer, and I finally got my hands on Baldur's Gate 3 this year. Absolutely loved it. Loved it. I cried a little when it ended after playing the whole thing through. Immediately started my second playthrough. Which is how obsessive I can get sometimes, but I've been playing the second playthrough too as Dirge, and that's been really, really cool, and just cannot get enough of that game. Although I've been on a little bit of a break from it because I've just been too busy lately, but it's just been one of my favorite things this year. In terms of TV shows, I had a couple ones that I wanted to give a quick shout out to, is I really enjoyed the second season of Shrinking, the first season of the franchise. If you want to know more what filmmaking is like in, especially studio filmmaking, definitely give that one a watch. It's absolutely insane. And my absolutely favorite TV show this year, although I'll say, like, I don't watch a whole lot of TV, I've watched more movies, but my favorite TV show was Shogun, by a mile. Like, that was unreal, amazing, fantastic, and just cannot get enough. And just to give another shout out to Cross, that one. Go watch it. It's on Amazon. I absolutely adored the first season, and the next season is coming out next year. If you're into, detective thrillers, that's one to watch. Really enjoyed that too a lot. But, I'm slightly biased, so I'm not like that's an honorable mention. Anyway, I'm always looking for films and recommendations and music videos. It's like, I would love to hear from you, like what your favorites have been in terms of movies, TV shows, games, music videos, all of that. And would really love to hear what you're hoping to see next year here on the channel. Definitely leave a comment below. And yeah, stay tuned. Give me a subscribe if you haven't yet to follow along. Give this video a thumbs up to make sure that it sees more people. Check out my Patreon if you want to see a little bit more about what goes on behind the scenes here. Lastly, I would love to see you on the Discord server if that's your thing. We hang out on there, talk about all of these things actually all the time. And in the meantime, Happy New Year, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.